If you're lucky enough to have an apple tree or know someone who does, it's the time of year where you might find yourself inundated with apples. These are cooking apples, and today I'm going to show you how to make these really cool individual apple crumbles. We're going to start by making some stewed apple. So take an apple, core it, and peel it. Then cut it into pieces and put them into a pan. Do this with a few apples, depending on how much you want to make. Then put the pan on the stove, add a little water, put the lid on and leave it to stew. Whilst they're cooking, we're going to make the crumble topping. Take some butter and cut it into pieces. It depends how much you want to make, but I used about 100 grams. Next we need to add some porridge oats. This helps to give it a nice, wholesome, crispy topping. Add a little flour and some white granulated sugar. Then start mixing it together with your fingers. You need to really work it into the butter. The quantities don't really matter all that much, but we're looking to get a nice consistency like this, so you can squeeze it together in your hand. Then easily crumble it into pieces again. And we'll be using this in a minute. The apples should be nicely cooked by now, but because these are cooking apples, I'm sweetening them up with a bit of sugar. And I'm also adding some mixed spice. Next, we're going to put the filling inside one of these large apples. So, using a sharp knife, carefully cut the top off, and I'm using a large spoon to hollow it out. Try to leave the wall thickness about 1 centimetre thick, so it's nice and strong. When you're done, take your stewed apple and spoon it into the hollow cooking apple. Leave a bit of space at the top, then spoon in some of the crumble topping. And there's our apple crumble in an apple, ready to bake. Pretty cool, huh? Put it on an oven tray ready. Then, if you want to, make some more. You might find it easier just to chop the top straight off the apple and hollow it out that way. Spoon in the stewed apple, and by chopping the top clean off, there's probably a bit more room to add extra crumble topping. When you've made enough, put them in the oven and leave them to bake. I put them in at 180 degrees centigrade, which is 350 degrees Fahrenheit, for about 20 minutes, or until they start turning golden. When they're ready, take them out, and they're ready to serve. You can see this one has started to split a little, so do be careful. I'm using tongs, but you could use a big serving spoon to put it into a bowl. I like to serve mine with a nice scoop of ice cream, but you could use custard. They look really good, and they're nice and easy to make. It's a nice variation of a classic apple crumble, and it's fun serving it inside an apple. And they taste great. I did make far too much crumble topping, but you can always keep this in the fridge or the freezer and use it again at a later date. Same as the stewed apple filling we made.